Substance use is dangerous because it works. Before it destroys a life, it often provides immediate relief from overwhelming internal pain. In clinical terms, a chemical dependency functions as a lifestyle solution. It offers a fast, reliable way to numb grief, quiet severe anxiety, or silence the weight of deep shame. This leaves us with a difficult paradox. If we look at addiction as a solution, we have to ask what underlying problem the person is so desperately trying to solve. The physical craving is a secondary symptom. Beneath the substance use, the individual carries a heavy, invisible set of rules about how the world operates and what it takes to survive in it. Psychologists call this private logic. These are the internal, unspoken rules that govern our behavior. They sound like absolute facts in our own heads. Sentences like, "No one stays," "I am too much," or "If I ask for help, I will owe someone." We draft these rules in our earliest childhood years, developing them as a way to safely navigate the specific quirks and dangers of our early family environments. To find these rules, therapists look at early childhood memories. But recent neurobiological research shows us that memory isn't a static hard drive. Every time you recall an old memory, your brain automatically alters it to fit your current context, rewires the connections, and stores the revised version in place of the original. This biological instability turns memory into a psychological map. We use it to extract the hidden survival rules that dictate a person's behavior in the present. Therapists use a diagnostic tool developed by Alfred Adler called early recollection to map a person's underlying beliefs rather than interrogate their history. Adler recognized that early memory functions as a meaning map. Out of thousands of childhood experiences, we subconsciously retain specific, isolated events from before age 10 because those moments project our most essential convictions about ourselves and the world. To access this map, the therapist asks the client to isolate a single early memory and describe it in the present tense. Shifting the language to, "I am standing by the door," strips away adult rationalizations, forcing the client to re-experience the raw emotional logic of that specific scene. Centering the work on the client's internal movement and decision-making makes historical accuracy irrelevant. Consider a case from a group therapy session. A member shares an early recollection of a chaotic family fight. In the memory, they are a young child, hiding silently under a table. The therapist ignores the factual details of the argument to ask a different question. As you remember yourself under that table, what did you decide about being seen or about needing help? In that moment, the child drafted a foundational rule to survive the chaos. I must disappear to be safe. Fast forward 20 years. For this adult, substance use acts as a chemical way to disappear. It enforces their private logic, allowing them to maintain a safe psychological distance and avoid relying on anyone else. The addiction provides a logical, if destructive, way to honor the rule they wrote as a child. Recognizing this connection reveals the old rule, "I must disappear," was a gift keeping a vulnerable child safe. But we must weigh that historical gift against its present-day cost, which manifests as the agonizing isolation and physical destruction of addiction. Courage is found in honoring the childhood adaptation while choosing not to obey it any longer. Identifying this private logic reframes dependency as an outdated survival tool that has outlived its usefulness. The ultimate goal of this process is what Adler called social interest, the active movement toward belonging, contribution, and a concern for others. Recovery requires a pivot. The individual takes the emotional strength once used to hide and redirects it toward vulnerability and connection. They practice this new logic by sharing their imperfect, unedited stories with safe people. In group therapy, they test the waters of being seen and supported, proving to their nervous system that the old rule is no longer required. True recovery takes hold when we prove to ourselves that imperfection is not the enemy of belonging. When we stop defending our worth, we can finally rewrite our earliest meaning maps into stories of connection.